All right, let's see, guys. Let's go have a grand old time today. I'm just gonna have a fun old time out here. I'm gonna take some of my Prussian Blue onto my brush, and I'm gonna tell you everything I've done to my canvas so far so you can make your canvas the exact same way. All right, we have a 22-inch by 28-inch canvas, a little bit bigger of a canvas than we normally work on. And what I did was I took my black gesso, and I made these little shapes, made a flat line, blacked out the whole bottom, and then let it dry. It's acrylic paint, so it dries very fast. Once it came time to paint this painting, I covered the black section in our Bob Ross Liquid Clear or linseed oil, and then the white section in our Bob Ross Liquid White, which looks a little bit like this. There, right? You want that much paint on the canvas in order to have all of our other thicker oil paints, which are very much like cake icing. They're very, very stiff. Right? We'll come out here and let's start dropping on all this paint. And as we cut across our sky, we can have it look however we want it to look, literally. Right? If I want it to be darker, I can just push on it, add more paint to the canvas, blend it out. And the more that we blend it and blend it and blend it, the softer and softer and softer it'll become, because it's mixing in with that liquid white all the time. Every time we're touching the canvas, it's mixing in with the liquid white that's already up there on it, right? So you can have all these little differences come out without even literally doing anything. We haven't done anything, right? We haven't done it. We just put some canvas on the, put some paint on the canvas and blended it out. There's no secret to it besides the secret ingredient that we use at the very beginning, right? So let's throw some of our paint up around the top, covering our little edges of our canvas, because we don't need those to be all sloppy now, do we? There we go, right? Gorgeous little thing. Now, I don't want to have too much paint on the brush when I go to do the light part of my sky, which is why we dumped it all off over there, grabbed a little bit for over here, and then maybe, let's very light there, right? I want that to be the brightest portion of our whole sky beyond our clouds, which are going to blend away by the time we get down there. But the main point being that the blue paint is going to blend and blend and blend until it almost becomes white, right? See all the differences in the sky out there? It's just fantastic. We're even going to take a little bit of our black paint over here. Just a little touch. Let's bring it up into the corner and just let it work its way down and away from the edge, right? Kind of like a clock. So coming over here, over there, right? Oh, look at that. That looks cool already. Sometimes you just have to back up and look at it and go, you know what? That's neat. I like it. I'm going to keep it looking just like that. And then it's up to you guys how it looks. Every time that you go to do a painting, you might want it to look a little bit different, or you might want to try a little different color, add more paint or less paint or whatever. Just blend it out, man. That's the whole fun of it. The whole funnest part is all the blending that happens, right? Now, most times you cannot blend it with a brush full of color like this. You're just going to keep dumping color, and see how it's shrinking our white area back there? We're just going to keep dumping color if we continue to add color like that. So what we're going to do is go wash off our brush, and then come back with a clean, dry one. Now, if this is the first time you're watching a Paint with Josh show, or if it's the 1,000,000th time you're watching a Paint with Josh show, you got to check in. Tell me where you're watching from. Just from around the world. Where are you from? Out there in the night. Where are you watching from? And you don't normally see me on a Wednesday, do you? We don't normally come up here on a Wednesday, but because we're going out of town this weekend, and we're not going to be doing all the weekend shows, I figured I'd give you guys a little extra one. We got the UK. It is Wednesday. We got Miami. We got Norway, Montana, Colorado, Egypt, Texas, Florida, Atlanta, Michigan, New Mexico. Man, you guys are all over the place, right? Let's get out here with our clean, dry brush. We want to make sure it's dry. All right, so what we're doing is kind of like flicking it and smacking it onto a paper towel to release that excess wetness. All right, then we're going to come up here into the lightest part of our sky first, and we're going to start mixing it. And the more that we mix it, the more the blue is going to overtake that little light colored area, which is okay. And we're going to blend out all the streaks in our sky just by making little crisscross strokes. That's all we're doing. We just do it fast. Right? After you do almost 2,000 paintings, you figure out how to do this stuff pretty quickly. Right now, the more we can drag this darkness over into our light, just help change it a little bit, blend it out. And then again, you look at it, however you're liking it, whatever you see, right? Do you see? And just have some differences out there. It's literally all you got to do. The more you blend over that black gesso area, the harder it's going to be to see our details and stuff, right? Nice little gorgeous little blue sky out here in the day. Wherever. It's fabulous. So, you guys, remember you can grab this painting as well. It's available. It's over on my site right now. All you gotta do is be the first person over there to get it. That's literally it. It's a big one. Look at the size of this thing. Just an enormous canvas. He's massive. Man, you guys are awesome. Okay, let's decide. All right, maybe we got some far off little clouds out here. And this is what I want to do for these clouds, okay? What I'm going to do is cut in front of my little mountain thing first, and then we'll pop in and make him a little bit closer by the time we come to our next step. So let's toss something over here, over there, right? Forget it. It's going to get covered up, right? Remember, we're going to bring it back to life by the time we come to our next little step. Carry these clouds up here, and all we're trying to do is just mush on and push and pop and pull and deposit all that white paint out into our sky, literally. Don't have to do much more than that. Doesn't have to go side to side. You just want enough paint out there to be able to grip it. And if we can grip it with our 1-inch brush and start to mix it down very light, right? The more you get down to the bottom, the more you push into the canvas to help make it go away. Very light along the top, harder along the bottom. I told you we're gonna bring that guy right back to life, didn't I? We're gonna come over here very lightly and then harder along the bottom, light along the top, changing our pressure as we go. Sometimes pushing in more, sometimes not pushing in as much. All right, we can decide how we want our little sky full of little puffer little clouds out there to look. Bang, fantastic. Just in a second or two, right? Now let's come in here and let's bring that mountain or rock or whatever it is closer to us than it is right now. All right, when we push it out there into the distance with all that brightness covering over it, makes it look a bit further away, kind of like these little rocky details over here, right? Because they're kind of faded, they look a little bit further away, covered in mist, mysteriousness, right? What we're gonna do is take some of our brown color and mix it into that Paint with Josh plaque mix, making Paint with Josh what? What do we call it when we take our plaque and we mix it with brown? What do you think we call it? Very, very technical art term that we like to call this color, and we'll take that, wipe it off, come back up here, flatten down some of it, scrape it so we remove a chunk. Look at the size of this guy. Look at that. Just a nasty old amount of paint on the side of that guy, right? Now we're gonna come up here, and as we push along the edge, whatever we do, as long as we've got a nice dark edge along our mountain top or our rock shape or whatever it is, then it's going to project our clouds back behind its own self and bring this guy right back up into the foreground. Do you see what we mean? Doesn't have to be super peaky or whatever. And then again, remove, scrape up. See how we're at different angles over here? We're trying to scrape off the paint. It's very flat versus right here. We're trying to deposit the paint down in different areas, right? Scrape it up so it doesn't grow too terribly big. And let's leave that guy out there for right now. I got an idea about this little guy out here. So what we're gonna do is, let's take our 1-inch brush and let's start to decide just very lightly, because I don't want this paint to grow very far. And you can see the more that I touch it, the more it's gonna wanna extend and grow on us. So let's take half the mountain, kind of from up here, in this little rounded shape. We're pulling everything down from this side. And let's take half our rock from over here. Again, not dragging on it a lot because I don't want the paint to grow down and overtake my little oceanous area. But if we've got some going this way and some going that way, then we're gonna have a really cool shaped and cool high lit thing. Remember, all of our bright sky is over here casting down some light. So let's make up some brown color. Let's take a bit of our two browns, the light brown and the dark brown mix. We're gonna mix them together right here into this crazy thing. And if it's not dark enough, we can take a bit of our Paint with Josh Brack mix. That's what it was called. Remember, I asked you the question. What was this called? That brackish color. Now, you can see it's a bit brighter than its original dark mix, but it's dark, right? We need that darkness off of our backside so our whole little mountainous thing can be all texturous and gorgeous by the time we get done, right? You need to have this thicker, darker paint up there that's creating all of our little rocky things, right? Whatever we want them to be, it's exactly how they're gonna be. Take it off, pull it over to the side. You can already start to see a difference. It's a very slight difference, right? But it is the darker side of the mountain that's supposed to be hidden in the shadows. We can even take a couple little of these little dark little things and pop them down in the side too, because when we come over here now and take a whole bunch more of our yellow ochre color and just a touch of that brown color that we made in here, see how it's starting to darken it up? So you just want to have a little bit of that darker brown, otherwise this stuff will go dark very quickly. Right there, that's a gorgeous color for some rock out here. Come up here and touch it and just let it float downwards. Right? The more you get down to the bottom, the more horizontal you're dragging it. And so all we're doing is attaching it and then letting it fall off our blade, just like that. Drop it off. Leave those little disconnections too. Right? If it doesn't want to overfill into a place, don't force it to go into that place. It doesn't like it down there. It doesn't want to be there, right? So we don't have to allow it to get down there. Now, what if you just popped up just a little, like a little projection or two, bang, just like that, creating a different part of our ridge of our guy, or we come over here, and we can even let the light sneak over a little bit further, right? It's all up to you guys how you want it to be every time that you go to do it. Now, let's take a little touch of our titanium white, and I'm going to tell you what I've done down here along the bottom. In our black section, there's a blue and black mix of paint, just a straight line all the way across the back. We've got our phthalo green here, then a little bit of purple paint down in here mixed with our phthalo green stripe, and then phthalo green and our brown mix for our sand down around the bottom. So we should have a lot of cool temperature changes, we'll call them little color changes out there. All right, so we'll take our titanium white. You always want your titanium white off in the distance, and in fact, it looks like we didn't get down far enough there. There. Just got to have our color out there, so otherwise we're going to have a floating little rock, right? We're going to come back just below the horizon, a little bit of our white, and then we're going to scrape it and move, and then to not stay in the same areas all the time, because you don't need it back there in the same places all the time. You got to have those disconnections, those areas of bright, feeding back towards our last areas of bright, but having a little touch in there, a bit of darkness, something, a wave, some far off white cap, something. Same thing out here, very close to our horizon, so we can work back a little bit of brightness above, and then we can decide by cutting straight through that guy, right, where he lives. Also depends, just again, titanium white, let's say we drop down, we came down this way, makes this part of the rock look closer. What if we got a little bit higher up in there, which we always like to do, and then bang, now you have these little differences, this disconnect. It's not just a straight line along the bottom, right? That's gonna make it look more realistic. What if we grabbed onto this guy and we just struck over just a whole little thing, right? Again, it doesn't matter where they are, what they look like, just throw some differences out there, right? If you don't have any differences and everything looks the same, nobody's gonna like it, not even you. And you're going to be the one that doesn't like it the most, right? Everyone else will go, oh, that's really cool. Love what you did. Love your work. Bah, 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 bah. But in your own head, you're like, do they really? Do they really like it? Right? We all go through that. Now, we brought it down just above, about a finger's worth of space above the eye of our wave, which is going to be perfect. And we're going to start to launch in different things. But since we've got our water way back here, crashing against our farther away little rocks back there, what if, just stick with me now, what if we took a bit of this darkness and we came down and made a second rock or some sort of formation, right, that came up and now filling up towards the top here, because you got to cut through your background. Dang, now we got this weird little formation up here, just like that. See that further misty mountain? The misty mountains in the background. That's what you need to project that distance, guys, that mist. Now remember, take this paint, pull it down. We don't need everything there. We just need it to kind of darken out that area. And literally, we shouldn't need much more than that. Now, we're going to come over here into our mega crashing wave, which should look really cool. We'll come in here like this. We've got this downward angle here. We're going to almost kind of cut up and through it, right? So let's touch right about there. And then, whoop, that's a lot of paint. You got to be careful. I'm going to cut down and roll it off this way. Right? That way, this guy has to go up and then start rolling over and casting down all of our little wavy things, okay? We don't want to have too much paint on the edge of the blade. Now, once we get over here, again, just titanium white, because we're just going to be scraping the color back and back and back, sort of changing the angle so it looks like it's feeding it back that way, right? Never has to be perfect. So don't let anyone tell you you have to fill in this area or you have to fill in that. The only thing we're trying not to do is overfill it, right? If we overfill it full of color and everything touches, guess what's not gonna look right, right? Right, you're right. You're right. Nothing will look right if we overdo it. And remember, we got our little eye in there, which, let's brighten up right here. Show you what the eye of the wave looks like. Okay, we're gonna come in here like this, very close to our color, okay? A little bit bigger on our one side, like a little swimmer, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. And remember to leave it some room because it's going to grow. Right? As we mix it, it's gonna grow and grow and grow and grow and move upwards. And we don't want them to touch, right? Can't have it touching. No, no, no. Dip down, just like that. However you want it to be, right? Doesn't all have to be the same. That's the best part about it. It never has to be the same as mine, as yours, as whoever's. No one's out there is gonna look exactly the same, okay? One more time with our titanium white only. We have not got out the liquid white yet. Okay, as you can see, we're rolling up and then we're gonna basically make like a, that's too much paint. Get rid of that big old glob. We're basically going to make a little V shape or a little U shape, right? Just like that. So we're coming down, going up, just like we make our little birds. That's all you really need to do. All this stuff back here, we're just gonna very lightly fill in so it's not all the same. Remember, everything cannot all be the same. Now, with nothing on our blade, because we've already tapped on a little bit of paint up here, let's come down and start to roll and roll and roll. And you can see they're changing. One of them was kind of right down here. The next one was a little bit over. The next one's a little bit over. This one will be a little bit over, and then we'll go over and over and over to the side by the time we get over there, okay? You don't need too much paint. You're never gonna see this whole thing. I try to say that to all the students. You will never see the entire bit of water that we've just painted right here because we're going to cover it purposely, okay? Again, down, not directly straight down, but kind of down on an angle, a little bit bigger angle, bigger angle. Now we're gonna start to change and go over to the side more, right? So now we're above the corner of our canvas here. And we'll go above that, and above that, and above that, and above that. We're changing those angles out there like that. Everything is like a clock. Roll, oh man, this one's gonna be cool. Just rolling in, baby. Launch it however far you wanna launch it out. But remember, we're gonna have this excess spray that comes in and tries to cover over everything, okay? You can see the disconnections we've left. Our little dark separation in between the eye and the top of the wave. A little bit bigger of a dark separator here, right? Between the under part of our wave and our eye here. We're leaving those for a reason, guys. We do everything out here is for a reason, okay? We're gonna come back with our liquid white finally into our titanium white. I'm gonna make it so it's much wetter of a consistency than it normally is. Right? Get out there, you need it to be wet. And what we're gonna do is sort of make an S in between all this stuff. And if you can't see it, turn your head on the side like that. Okay, we're gonna come up here, tap it in, just a couple little bits of brightness along the top, some water that's breaking up and rolling over, and then I'm gonna come over here and start tapping on, there, and then instantly fall down underneath, make a little U shape, come up over here, make them about the same height. They don't have to be perfect. And they've got shark teeth. That is nice. Come up over here. And the only thing we're really focusing on, right, is having the same angles, right? So if we've got this angle, that angle, we wanna have this angle, that angle be almost the same, okay? Nothing out there, again, has to be perfect. So if you make a bigger splotch or whatever, it's okay, guys. It's okay. We're gonna come in here and start to mix it. And the more that we mix it, the more it's gonna grow this way and the more it's gonna grow down that way. And remember, we do it twice. So don't matter what it looked like on the first time, we're gonna come back in and we're gonna launch out some more stuff and do it twice. Now, that is a cool looking crasher. It's hitting everywhere, right? So, like I said, no matter what it looks like on your first go, you gotta come back in and give it the final touch. Okay, so we'll go back in with a little bit more liquid white, a little bit more titanium white. Same thing, come back up in here, drop in just a few more little bits, make them crash up into the wave, right? Little cool little things that you might not brush out by the time you get down there. Splashers, they look so cool when they come out that way. Goodness, right? A couple more little bits in here. Because again, you don't want everything to be the same as it was the first time. Just a few little changes in the day. Mix this guy down very lightly, very lightly. if we mix it all exactly the same, it's gonna look like it did the first time, right? Which is why we come back kind of randomly on the second go, mixing it a little bit more differently, a little bit more flippantly. It's whatever, throw it down, right? Now let's come down in here. We'll get a little bit more of our liquid white onto our blade, mix it with our titanium white, and it's about a 90-10 mix. So if you feel like the paint is still too thick, right? And get in there with the liquid white, make it a little bit wetter, and then we'll be all shadowrooshki, you guys. All shadowrooshki. Okay, let's see over here. Take this like that. Hey, just like so, right? We've got our very wet mix. How many people we got watching? My goodness, almost 1,000. You guys are awesome. Look at that painting, though, for real. You got to get the shoo and the kaboom and all the cool sound effects that we'll do by the time we're finished. Now, here's a neat little perspective thing to show you. If your wave, if you want to keep it perspectively correct, it should be a straight line or a level line across our canvas anyway, from the top or the edge of our wave over here to where our bottom of our spray is, right? Cutting right through the thing, nice straight line like that. And then what we're gonna do is take this very liquidy wet mess, okay? We're going to start on that straight line all the way up here, start scraping in little things, leaving a little darkness underneath. If you can have a couple little areas of shadow underneath that water, because remember, this can get bigger. This can spread out towards the front, and you can have a bigger landing area where your water's coming down and hitting. But if you cut too far back into that guy, you're gonna lose all your details and such. Okay, now we're gonna come down here, and as you can see, am I going a straight horizontal line across the canvas, or is it slightly pitched downward just a little bit? Right? And I'm just asking you, right, what you see out there. Do you see this straight line across, or is it slightly pitched down? What do you think? Tell me now. Come back here and look. Oh man, this one's looking fabutastically. That's a wave right there. It's pitched, right? We're going down at this slight downward angle. That doesn't mean that we're like this, right? We're not on a 45-degree angle like that. We don't want to touch corner to the corner of our canvas like you're measuring a TV screen, right? We're just very slightly pitched versus being straight. Straight like that. Boop. Just a little, maybe a 10 to 15-degree angle, something like that. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Now, the first thing we're going to do is take a little bit more of this wet paint that's in here, right? And we're going to basically make a mess of it, but we're going to do it horizontally. So we're going to come out there, back and forth, just getting lower and lower and lower, which is exactly what we do with this guy, which is smaller and less paint, right? In here, we're trying to deposit some junk. So when we take it with our brush and move it backwards, it starts to look like our oceany, watery stuff, right? So, just like that, and here comes the magic, my friends. Are you ready for some magic? Are you ready to call me a wizard, Harry? I'm just asking you. I'm just asking. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna take our clean, dry brush, and we're gonna move the paint that's already there. We don't need any excess paint. What we're gonna do is focus on a clock, right? So a clock at noon would be right here, and about 3 or 3:15 would be our angle that we're on right here, right? So from here to here. Flatter out this, the more out we go to the side, the flatter we are. The more we come in here, the more we start arching it upwards. But we can't just do it like this. That's not gonna look right. If we just come in there like that, we have to flow backwards and then take off. So you ready? That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna grab onto the paint that's out there, just pulling it literally directly sideways. Horizontally, 3 o'clock, okay? 3 o'clock out there. Now we're gonna be coming in here, and the more we come in, the less we're gonna drag, because we don't need it to reach all the way up to here, okay? And the more we're gonna start making a circle. And the more that we make this circle in here, the tighter and tighter and tighter the circle gets in there, the more vertical we're turning, but we're going backwards first, right? We gotta go back. And then, hello, did we just sell this paint? Get out of here. I don't believe it, right? Did we just sell this one for free? But the more you go back, the more you come in here, the more rounded we are. The more you go over here, the more flat it is. And then remember, line up these guys, however they are, and then drag them down that way, just a little. We're not painting everything. We don't need to see every bit of water, right? All we're trying to see is the stuff that's floating on top of our invisible water back there, right? So again, long streaks, and then we go back. So from over here, long streak, and then we roll it up and in and try to save just a little ping pong ball size, golf ball size, dark space back there. That's all you need, a little darkness, and then we can go back and add as many details as we want, but that looks fantastic. Pull this guy out a little bit, and we'll go back and clean up his line on the front, just like that, guys. That's a neat little color, if I do say so myself. Rolling in. Okay, very, very cool, my friends. Let me go see you grab this one. Let's just look. Nice. Boom. South Carolina. Excellent. Okay, now let's get in here and let's grab our, I think we might just have enough. There's two different ways you can do this part, okay? What you can do is you take your very wet, liquidy white paint, and you can either scrape it in like we did up here, right? Just kind of back and forth, those scrapes, just like we did up here, but we're gonna do it underneath and try to leave a little dark section in between. They don't have to be perfect, right? So if you drop a little bit of color one way or some of this over here or whatever, we're just trying to leave that gap in between the two colors. If we cannot leave a gap, then everything is gonna look exactly the same, right? And if we can't tell the difference between the two bits, then what are we doing out here? Always put a little bit more down here in your right bottom corner, so it will extend more, less up here, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're going to drag more down here and less as we get up here, making that downward angle, right? So we'll come in here, and we'll start to grip it and grab it, and we've got our brown undercolor down in here, so it's gonna look like sand instantly. It's gonna have that tealy color, and all I wanna ask you guys is, does this look like sand to you? Just that wet, sandy area, and if it doesn't, just tell me what you think it looks like. We can drag it further so we maintain that angle like that. What do you think that looks like if it doesn't look like sand? You tell me out there. Not looking like sand right now. Sand-ish, I feel you. I feel you. And I can already see that it's probably not bright enough for what I want it to be. So I'm gonna come back in here with a little bit more, just do the same thing again, plopping on that white paint, right? In order for me to do it. Or you can also go like this, right? If you want it to, say you don't know how, you can't figure out the palette tool, if you just come in here and scrape it down, right? It does the same exact thing. The only thing we're trying not to do, don't touch your wave above. If you touch your wave above, it's gonna be bad. Let's pull this guy down with a little less pressure so it stays a little bit more bright. And again, you're telling me this doesn't look like sand? I'm gonna have to go rethink my entire teaching career. Because what if we did this and we pulled all those vertical streaks, we turned them into little horizontal streaky poos, right? And the more that you mix it up, you get that white to kind of spread out. It's mixing in with the darkness, and now you get this shiny little wettish area where the water is gonna have that little retracting foamy line out there. Do you see that water right there? Now, what we can do in order to shrink our separation is either get up there with the brush and try to get as close as you can with the brush, or we can bring down the paint that's already here, right? And just shrink it down. Now watch the difference between this little area, where you got that very small little shadow, versus the areas where we have our giant shadows, right? We don't need to have all these giant shadows out there. So we shrink them down just by kind of grabbing the paint and pushing harder as we go. The more that you get down here, you're bending the whole blade because all the paint is falling off of it. All we're trying to do is make a little edge, a little lip of water right out here on the front. And that water is that white section. It literally creates a lip. You can feel it like a little speed bump when you go over when it's all dry. Don't touch it while it's wet. When it's dry, you'll be able to feel it like a little speed bump out there. And then again, the closer you get down onto that dark separation, the more realistic it's gonna look, right? If it's this huge, giant bit of darkness out there, that's not gonna look real to anybody, right? No one's gonna be out there looking at that. Oh man, that's fantastic. Okay, before we get too far ahead, let's get in here. I just wanna put down just a couple little bits of our lighter color brown on our highlight rock back there, just to help him, again, stand out as being in front, right? We don't need everywhere to be all the same, so we can pull a couple down sideways. You can pull them into our mist. We can always blend it back out. It literally doesn't matter what's happening over there. We just need a little bit of our lighter color in the back with that highlight, a little bit of separation in between. Right? That's all she wrote back there. Very cool. Very cool. Now, out here in our foreground of our sandy beach is when we need a lot of liquid white. It's basically like 98% liquid white at this moment in time. All right, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a big old rock come out right here. So let's not get too close to that guy. There, push real hard, and it's not gonna go very far, okay? If you don't have enough paint on the edge of the tool, and you're not pushing hard enough to get it to deposit, it's gonna be rough for you, right? All we're doing is popping out at, again, this little downward angle, all the way down. It's the same angles, right? This line that's going up here, this line, they're all on the same angles, guys. Quite legit, literally same angle. Now we make it nice and bright like that, so we can come back in here and we can grab some of that paint just very lightly off the front. Remember, this is not water. It's like a millimeter of water. It's a very, very, very small amount that's over the top of this sand. So we don't need there to be too many little details out there. We want it to reflect. We want all these cool things to be happening, my friends. Now, who got this painting? You come up and tell us. Was it you? Man, this one is really neat, you guys. I am like, see how you get that little foamy little thing, and you couldn't even see it before? You know what I mean? You're like, what is going on? What is this guy doing? Clearly has never seen a beach before. Like, what's happening? And then we come up and fool you. Now, we're gonna take a little of our liquid white, which is that very runny, wet stuff, right? We're gonna get it right here on the edge of the blade. Some of it's on our brush. And then what we're gonna do is drag the brush through it, which is gonna bend the bristles and then launch them forward, spitting out all of this oceany spray, right? Coming off the top of our wave just a little bit. Get in here, we're launching them out this way, then we're turning, we're throwing, we're covering. Right? This is why we did our highlights up here before we did the spray bits. Out there, the more that you spray on to this little bit, right? The more little 1,000 pieces of water are gonna show up in your painting. Look at that. Isn't that the coolest? Zai, it was you, hello. Nice, thank you for grabbing this one, honestly. And did you know that since you purchased it during the live show, you now get to come up with the title for it forever. So as we get closer to the end, everyone's gonna start typing out title suggestions, and then you get to pick whichever one you want out of all of those suggestions. That is one of the perks about getting the painting during the live show. Let's come back in here a little bit more of my spray. Just need it right there. Just a couple little bits. And then again, I'm trying to launch it out this way. So I mean, I could literally stand on this side and try to do it like that. But you know what I mean. I like to get it all over my arms and tattoos and hands and everywhere else. That's what it's all about. Spray it, spray it, spray it. Which is why I told you, it really doesn't matter what's going on in our back section of water that rolls over, because we never see the whole thing, so don't paint the whole thing, okay? Same thing out here in our sand. Come out there, we're gonna back up a little bit further away so it doesn't throw it so crazily. All right, a couple little specks. You can get them in your watery retraction area. They're gonna look like bubbles or reflecting these little bits of spray that are landing on there. And the more you throw in your sand, the brighter it gets, right? So it's up to you how you want it to look. Man, if that's not fantastic. Look at this thing. Look at this thing, dude. So you guys start coming up with a title for this one. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask, was it Zai? What was it? Zai? I think it was Zai. Z-Y, maybe? I can't remember. I'm gonna ask, do you want a big rock over here in the front? Or should we leave it nice and sandy, like you could just walk out and let the waves crash against your little toesies? Right? What do you think? We're gonna do one of two things. We can either leave it in there, right, and then we'll add more of our details into the water, or we can add a big old rock onto the side. But you tell me, you want a big rock on the edge over here, filling up the bottom? Or, right, we got all these people, right? We're gonna have it, let me show you what it might look like. Let me show you, Zai, what we might get this one to look like. We may end up getting it to look like Cosmic's painting that she got the other day. where you have a couple rocks in here, maybe some in the surf, one down here, maybe jutting outwards. We've done so many little different things, right? But what do you feel like for yours? You want to leave it nice and bare and beachy? A little beach and beach? You do whatever you feel. Okay. Well, since we've got some time, let's do, and we've got the paint already. I mean, look, we've got the darkness, and we've got the shadows, and we've got the highlights still on the paint, on the palette. Let's get down in here like this. Okay, so how are you going to project? How are you going to make these two rocks different? If this one, right, literally the exact same colors that we're going to be using on this one and the one that's in the front, how are we going to make the two rocks look different, right? What is going to separate them? Let's come out here and go like this. There, right there. It's a big old monster. And plop it on. It's coming out here. All right, we're just mushing on the paint, trying to get rid of all the light. I don't want to have any brightness. I want it to be as dark as humanly possible, right? Now, even though, do that, come out here like this too. Why not? You said I could do whatever. Whatever means whatever. Maybe there's a little right there, and then there's a little area underneath, and then we're gonna fill it all in, all the way the heck back down here, right? Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Now, let's come up here. We're gonna grab this part of our rock. We're gonna come down. It will go up, and it will go down a lot. There we go. Spray back in our whole little area of sand, because you can literally do this over and over and over again with your sand, right? No matter what. You only notice it if you flick it. Bang, just like that. Now, let's come back, and we're gonna decide off the back half of this rock over here. Maybe we had all this darkness. Dark, crazy dark brown paint. It's only there for texture, so Zai will be able to literally feel this rock. Right? I mean all of the rocks, but you literally be able to feel this one by the time it's dry. There. Now we'll come back with our bright color. Let's come up here, sort of just tap on little areas, right? Almost like we do our tree bark, but you can literally tap at it, tap, 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 and then leave some space, leave some gaps. Don't have everything be all the dang same. All right, boom, boom, boom. Boop, right there. Fabulous, you guys. Literally, what else do you want it to look like? All right, be a bit brighter, add a bit more paint, add a bit from a different angle or whatever. Right? It's all up to us. All we gotta do is leave some separations in there. If we can leave those little separate areas or drag the paint down in a different direction, then it's gonna help with our rocks, okay? Same thing in here. Let's put that guy, let's pull it out this way. There we go. There, now. Dude, you could even have another rock off of this little dude. For reals. We can do whatever we wanna do every time, seriously. Never, ever have anybody tell you you shouldn't do it that way or it can't be done that way, because we can do whatever the heck we wanna do. Now, let's pop in one right here in the middle too. Oh, look, he's gotta be, we're gonna put, actually, you know what, before we do that, let's come in here, we're gonna grab some of our titanium white, and I'm just gonna add a couple more details back in here by just very lightly grazing over with our titanium white. Remember, it's only supposed to be bright in the front. Doesn't have to be bright everywhere, so as these things start scraping up and flowing, they're gonna get darker as they go. That's the whole point. It's supposed to be a mess down there. It's not supposed to be this perfect thing. You're supposed to have little chunks of bright here and bright there and wherever. Right? It's all up to us. Just make sure they get flatter as they go out to the side. Now, let's come in here. Let's leave a little section. We picked it up down here. Right? Again, these guys getting flatter, flatter, flatter as you go out to the edge. Over there. I don't want to have too much brightness right where I'm going to put my rock, which is why I'm leaving that area a little bit darker. We'll come back in with our dark paint and just go friggin' wild. There it is. Big old thing right there. Right? And again, we want to keep the paint dark, which is why we try not to have all that brightness overtake it. Right? Plop it down right up here into the foreground too. Wherever. We can have it be wherever. Literally. And if I didn't like it there, maybe I want to cut it off right here. Right? And we can redo this whole bottom section, and I can leave it in the little misty spot. Whatever I want to do, you can do. check this out, okay? I mean, that looks cool how it's kind of split up. And if you wanted it to connect, zip, have it connect, right? Now it's back there, it's doing its thing, it's hanging out. We're gonna take all of our dark color and plop it off the back edge over here so we have all that thick, dark paint up there. And then we're gonna need to make up some more of our bright, but it's gonna sit down in here. Oh, can we get away with it with just the paint that we have? No, we need some more. I mean, oh, look at that, though. That's cool. That's cool. Look at it, dude. Oh, I like it. 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 Okay, now let's do one. I'm gonna do one more right here in the front. But in order to do that, we need to finish our sand. So we'll finish up our sand, plop it in down here, a couple little specks, and then when we cover over that sandy region, we can even get a couple bits of spray onto this rock over here just because it may be getting wet with the water. All right, now we can come in with our last thing. We're gonna need to make up all sorts of new kinds of piles of paint. So we're going with our black, our crimson, our blue, mix those guys up into our dark mix, right? That crazily dark Paint with Josh black mix. Need it to be really thick and have a lot of paint up there, that's for sure. Now, one more time, you guys check in, tell me where you're watching from, and then start coming up with a title for this painting. What do you think it should be called? All right, what would you call it if it was you that had painted it? All about details, baby. All about continuity and the details. There. There. Okay, cool. Now, you guys start coming up with a title for this one. What do you think? What do you want to call it? What should it be named? Should we connect on to this guy? Probably that one. That's the whole question. I want it right there, though. That's where I want my bright or my dark to peek through. Bang, right there. Take it out. Right, we could literally connect those guys too. Honestly, how do you want yours to be? You want it connected down here? Let's connect it down there. You want to leave it? Then let's leave it. What do you feel like doing when we're doing your painting? That's going to be a lot of texture. There. There. A lot of darkness in that rock right there, guys. Lots of it. Okay, now we're going to need to mix up our two brown colors again. So we got our light brown, our dark brown. We're going to mix those up. We're going to throw some of our Paint with Josh black in there so it stays dark. We don't need it to be too dark. There. That brown color. Here we are. Now we're going to use all this darkness to decide maybe we got more of those little shadows back in here. And again, you'll be able to literally feel all of this paint by the time that it's dry. It's going to feel like a rock. Like a Chevy, man. Get it? Get it? Like a rock. Nobody got that? You guys hurt my feelings. That hurts my feelings. Nobody got that little dumb joke? Fine. Fine, bro. Was it Ford? No, yeah, it was Ford. It was like a Ford. I'm just kidding. We're gonna mix up our little color over here. And again, grab up some of that lightness. Maybe we can change up what this guy looks like, catching some bright over here. Maybe we'll have a dark space in between. We'll pop on a bit of bright over there, just literally letting it flow and float across the thicker paint that's already there. Remember, these two light areas cannot touch. There has to be a bit of shadow in between. So no matter what, don't do it, man. There. There. Oh, fabulous. Oh, just love it. Okay. Now, you guys, you got to get back there, and you got to tell me, man. You got to tell me, man, what we're doing as far as. I like this too. Just a couple little sprinkly little bits. Oh. Oh, I like it. I like it, dude. Let's get in here one more time, though. We'll come back and do our sand one more time. There. There. Okay. You guys know me. I can never be done. I'm never fully satisfied with it. So you guys start coming up with a title for this one. What do you think it should be called? Right? And Zai gets to choose that title forever. There we go. Gorgeous. It's to pick that title forever. So whatever you think, type it out, right? And then he may just end up choosing your title over one that he's already had in his head. He may already have a title. We don't know. We're waiting on you to type out your title suggestion. And then Zion gets to pick that title. Okay. That guy, this guy, and that guy.